excited by this adventure. Expectant mothers should not ride. Once on board your safari transport, please remain seated with your hands high.
So it's a little bit of a step up in here, but this is the best place to sit for your neck and your back. It does give you a warning that says that if you have a neck and a back problem,
we're going to ask that you remain completely seated at all times. Please stay seated. Do not lean outside of the truck. We're going to be going over some very rough brush. Some of the bushes have long thorns. But as we say here in Harambe, Twende, which means let's go. So, Jumbo, everybody, hi. My name is Kristen. I'm going to be your safari guide for this journey out through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. We're about to go get a glimpse of Africa, including some of the most iconic animals. You can feel free to have cameras out and ready, but I'm going to recommend high-speed settings. There are some areas on the reserve where we are not allowed to stop, and even when we are allowed to stop, it's only going to be for just a few seconds. So an action or sports setting, something with a high shutter speed, usually works the best. We're going to get started right away. Already you're going to start seeing some animals out here on both sides of the road. We're going to talk about the ones to the left first. These orange-colored antelope or bongos, also known as the ghosts of the forest. They love to stay hidden away in the densely vegetated areas. So these are some pretty beautiful views. Coming up on both sides of the road, these tall light tan antelope are greater kudu. Second tallest antelope in Africa. Boys stand about 5 feet tall at the shoulder. As you can see, these girls are not too much smaller. And over to the right by the tree stump in the middle of the hill, that's an okapi. Often mistaken for relatives of the zebra because of the stripy legs. They're actually the only living relative of the giraffe. It's because of the shape of their heads. The boys even have ossicones, which are the false horns like all the giraffe have, and all of the okapi have long, black, prehensile tongues. Again, just like the giraffe. Now, this does bring us past one of the local watering holes. It's a pretty good gathering spot for many animals, and sure enough, across the water, that's a black rhino by the rock wall. From this distance, you can see they are quite large. Hey, sweetheart, gotta be sitting down for me on a lap or on a bench. I know this is all really, really exciting, but we are on a moving vehicle that I might need to start or stop very suddenly. So that is for your safety and the safety of those around you. You have to keep everybody sitting down back there. As I was saying, a black rhino, incredibly large, weigh up to 3,000 pounds, but they can still get moving. They can charge 35 miles per hour at their top speed. That's actually a little faster than this particular truck can go, so we're gonna keep moving. I'm starting to think it might be time for us to head out of all this dense forest. Personally, I'd like to find a few more of the larger animals, so we'll go head out to the Sabi River. That's my favorite spot to go look for hippos. Now, typically, they get much better hippo spottings head to the left. So if you're on the left, please don't worry yet. Better is a relative term when it comes to hippo spottings. You might see some eyes sticking out of the water towards the front right corner of the truck by the broken tree branches. They can stay completely under the water for about 8 minutes at a time before they need to come up for air like this. And sure enough, with 2 to the right, there's a whole group to the left, which puts us in the middle of a group of hippos known as a float. It's a float of hippos. Also up to the left on top of the island, the big gray-white birds of pink-backed pelicans. They get the name because during mating season, their back turns light pink color. They blush. But I am actually much more worried about the next animal. Because we are about to drive over a really rickety bridge. And as we make our way across this bridge, if you look out to the left, those are Nile crocodile, and they will snap the bones of their prey with their powerful jaws that have a crushing force of over 2,000 pounds per square inch. mean bigger or taller, not necessarily longer. From the tip of the nose to the tip of the tail, those crocodile average about 16 feet long. So we are headed away from those rivers, out towards a completely different ecosystem with completely different animals. We're gonna head to the savannah next. Speaking of different, we have a different kind of tree on the right, known as the baobab. It's also known as the upside down tree, so you know which one it is. It's the one on the right that kind of looks like it's got its roots sticking up in the air. Not really roots, of course. They are branches. Baobabs go leafless about 9 months out of the year to conserve water. We should find a few more of them out in the savannah, so we're going to keep driving around. And as we drive around this corner, our first view of the savannah, the Serengeti grasslands. These grasslands stretch for miles across East Africa. They're home to millions of migrating animals every year, making it kind of like their version of a superhighway. This is the Africa we're working so hard to conserve, and already you're going to start seeing some animals out here. Now, I know the giraffe way out in the distance are really exciting, but they're really far away, so we're going to loop around, get a lot closer. We'll talk about them in a little bit. The other animals out to the right with the really big horns are Nkoli cattle. Those impressive horns average 3 to 4 feet in length. They can reach up to 6 feet long. As we loop around to get closer to the animals out in the distance on the right, on the left we're at one of the edges of the reserve. You might see some fences, but if you look past the fence line, those are African wild dogs roaming around. These wild dogs might look a lot like domestic dogs you'd be used to, but they are only very loosely related, and they are undomesticatable. They are the most successful hunters of mammals in Africa. These dogs beat all of the large cats, hyenas, and other predators for the title of most successful hunter, because not only will they hunt as a pack, coordinating and communicating with one another, they will chase their prey until their prey drops from exhaustion, which is kind of terrifying when you think about it. So we're going to head away from the dogs, going out in the nice grass and leaf-eating animals instead. Loop around to get back to that group of giraffe out in the distance to the right, and I'll tell you, a group is quite appropriately known as a tower. It's a tower of giraffe, and that is appropriate because they do start out pretty big. Baby giraffes stand 6 feet tall when they're born. That means they can look into the eyes of any full-grown adult human standing in the grasses next to them, or to give you some perspective of just how big the animals we're looking at today really are. The armrests at the side of our truck are just over 6 feet off the ground. We are very high up in the air today. This happens to be a tower, a group of Maasai giraffe that we're starting to get a little closer to. The Maasais have these rougher edges to their spots, almost leaf-like in appearance. Different types of giraffe have different types of spots. It's a couple of different types out in the world, but no two individuals are exactly the same either. Each individual giraffe has its own unique pattern, kind of like how people have their own unique fingerprints. That's how you can tell them all apart from one another. Hey buddy, have a seat for me, on a lap or on a bench. Thank you. Towards the front right corner of the truck, there's also some sable antelope out there. So far I only see girls. Boys' horns get a little longer. They reach maximum length, about 5 feet long. Boys also darken as they age, so the dominant male would get to be so dark brown, he'd look black in color. And this is going to start to bring us out towards Monkey Point next. Monkey Point gets its name for a group of mandrills that have taken up residence in the abandoned camp coming up on the left. While mandrills are incredibly social amongst themselves, they're a little shy to outsiders like us, so we are going to be looking for motion. If you see one, there's probably a couple more nearby. Keep a sharp eye out. to the left. Towards the front left of the truck, just to the right of the large rocks. They are the largest of the monkey species. You can see that's not saying much. Adult males average about 55 pounds. The dominant male can weigh up to 100 pounds at the most. The females would be much, much smaller than the boys we're looking at. They weigh between 20 to 35 pounds at the most. Much larger would be the elephant out in the distance to the right. Unfortunately, the biggest threats to the elephants are still people. Still being hunted for their ivory tusks, they also face habitat loss due to mining going on out in the Congo. Miners are looking for an ore called coltan. Coltan's used in electronics like cell phones, laptops, tablets, things like that. So if you want to help out elephants, please feel free to recycle electronics when you're finished with them. That's going to reduce the need.
So the safari ride ended, and that was probably just an amazing safari ride as compared to the many, many other ones I've been on. This particular ride, not only was she a much gentler driver than others, but the animals were feeding in the early morning, and so they were out. I recommend, if you can rope drop, to do it. If you can get up and go, it's definitely worth it. Again, when the park opened, it was 8 o'clock. Now, there were already special magic hours for people on resort at 7. So, I wasn't able to get into the line in front of everybody because there was a little bit of a line already existing, but it was still less than a 10-minute wait. It went very, very fast. So I would just recommend to try it if you can get up and get going. Not only did it save a lot of time, but wow, just getting all those animal pictures in. Okay, hope you enjoyed it.